Okay, we can go.
All right, stand by. Wait for my signal. And mic's up.
Hi, everybody. This is Keith Williams, and this is the Courageous Hour. I'm one of the co-hosts with Laura Sigmund. That's my partner. Right. I don't know if Steve's going to be on tonight, but we've been having some beautiful conversations over a month or so. But Courageous is about elevating kids' lives through sports. We are a 501c3. We're located in Detroit. We have wonderful relationship with Wayne State, who's helping us, mold our nonprofit to compete with some of the major nonprofits within the city. In the last since 2012, I think we have done a service over 9,000 kids. Beautiful. And we have a conduit to some major companies in this area who helps us with our financing. And Laura will go in more in depth with that because she's been with me. I don't know if this is politically correct. She's been my road dog with me.
I'm down with that.
She's been with me side by side when we created this thing. So I'm so proud of what we have done, how we have made inroads into this community. And but the most important thing, our kids are getting service.
Yes.
It ain't about all the kids that come from parents with wherewithal. These kids we service don't have parents with wherewithal. And so those are the kids I'd like to see lifted up. I'm getting ready to write. Laura, I finally came to conclusion what my title of my book is going to be.
You want to share it?
Life After Homer Street.
All right.
Okay. I remember as a kid, only child out of 9 that finished high school and finished college. When I was matriculated through my process, I was around kids with middle-class values. Parents had money. They was professional. When my mother did nurse, she was a nurse's aide. My daddy worked on the assembly line. But he said this to me. He said, nobody's better than you.
Amen.
He told me, if you listen and talk to my nieces and nephew, my father said the same thing to them too.
And it's still true today. It's still
true today. Because you got more than me don't mean you're better than me.
Amen, amen.
That's what I think. I believe that you have to play above the rim. See, Negroes got to play above the rim. They can't play under the rim because you're going to get treated like that. Okay? Just today, we had Joe Biden's people on our Zoom call, because I am the chairman of the Michigan Democratic Party Black Caucus, and I had to let them know, see, we're going to get the record straight. We're going to get this record straight. When Kamala ran in 2019, nobody was with her. I endorsed her. I was on CNN and all those places, lifting that sister up. But now there's a love affair with her now. You got all the sororities coming, talking about they getting calls from her. Where were they when she needed them the most? Then Joe Biden was languishing before the New Hampshire primaries.
Yeah, before South Carolina endorsed
He
him.
went on TV and said, the Michigan Democratic Party Black Caucus endorsed me. Now Clyburn getting the love, and so he getting the love.
You cut it out.
No, I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Don't leave us out. Don't leave the hood rats out because we was there, but we put together a successful campaign statewide. So this is all I'm saying, Laura. Our kids and Black folks need to see the goodness of God and what He has done for us.
Amen, amen.
The man could not have won unless Black folks went out and voted and recognized.
Showed out. That's right.
Yeah, look what don't even put Georgia in there because they ain't won yet. Milwaukee, Detroit, and Philadelphia lifted the blue wall, lifted that brother up.
Well, we've got a special guest on, Deborah Keller Green from.
Let me finish this, and I'm gonna go right to you.
From Baltimore, so I can't wait to hear what you say to her later on.
Oh yeah, but the bottom line is this: Courageous is on the map, and we just need people to help work with us. Like this lady Pat, I'm gonna help her with the golf deal because our kids need to see everything. They need to see every opportunity. Every opportunity from dancing to tennis to golf. They don't need to be pigeonholed, okay? But other than that, I have some jobs too with the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, and I am director of recruiting. And I'm looking for brothers 18 and sisters 18 and over, high school diploma, valid driver's license, GED, no felony. See, we got to be in all the labor markets. Law enforcement, doctors, nurses, we need to be all over the map, okay? Because if you look at law enforcement, we run away from law enforcement, but other folks run towards it, and they get them benefits, 401ks, tuition reimbursement,
and making a change from the inside.
Yes, you got to make the change from the inside. So if you want a job, call me at 313-657-8962. I work for a wonderful brother and Sheriff Benny Napoleon, who came through the ranks from DPD. Now he's the chief law enforcement person of Wayne County. He's a great guy to work for. We also building in the next year or so, we're building brand new facilities. I'd rather see more schools than jails, but there's some bad folks out in the streets that do need to be locked up every now and then. Okay. So other than that, I'm gonna turn this over to you, Laura, and you can finish. And you got some lovely women on the show tonight.
Look,
I'm outnumbered.
You are outnumbered, but we need you. We need you, Keith. We elevate you. We recognize your role. I've got some special guests. I asked Deborah Keller Green to get back on because, you know, after this election, even before the election, and since COVID and all the rest, I've been keeping tabs of what's going on in Baltimore, and I want to be able to dial into Deborah in just a second. But I have a special guest on because she's got a program, Keith, that will run this Saturday. And it's a virtual symposium this Saturday that'll be on a live Facebook feed. So I want to introduce to our audience, if you have an ink pen and some paper, get it ready because I went through her promo video and she's got some revolutionary people who are going to be part of this Facebook live spot. Dr. Patricia Ferguson, welcome to the Courageous Hour. How are you this evening?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, John. Thank you, Keith, for having me here.
No problem, no problem. Dr. Ferguson, tell us about this Each One Teach One. What is Each One Teach One?
Each One Teach One is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that I founded a little over 25 years ago. Right after I finished my residency, I went to Wayne State, well, Detroit Public Schools, born and raised in Detroit. I went to Wayne State undergrad and medical school and did a residency in obstetrics and gynecology. And when I started working in the city, young and naive, I was like, I want to help single women who have all types of barriers and obstacles get out of the system. So I figured when we help someone, they would turn around and help someone the same way they did. So each one teach one.
Amen.
I met a lot of obstacles just because it was such a big task. And so I sort of reinvented invented the concept. And as my own children started growing up and going through schools, we started seeing trends and patterns where kids needed resources and support to navigate through the public school systems. And so as I moved into some of the suburban communities, Farmington, Bloomfield Hills schools, there are other parents having the same issues. So we kind of worked together and created networks of resource providers, whether it was tutors or academic support. And then we started building a network. And so now we have people in financial literacy like Gail Perry Mason and Lloyd Banks with Banks & Co. Whether it's communication, we had Kim Logan Communications or TACT Solutions, where they figure out how to do conflict resolution, anything and everything that can help families and their students prepare for success. That's what we try to do. And we're open to suggestions and networking. This program, because it's virtual, we've been able to extend beyond the boundaries of Michigan and local communities that we were familiar with. And we found people that have global travel services, global travel experiences for kids from grades 4 through 12. So they can get to learn about geography. We combined with Michael Griggs, who's a professor at Wayne County Community, to learn history, Black psychology. And our keynote speaker, one of them this year, is Mary Riley from Blue Cross, is going to talk about self-awareness. How do you recognize how the things that you do impact other people, and how to cope and deal with how things that are happening around us impact us, and how to navigate, how to handle that, how to emotionally stay healthy. So our theme is assess, adjust, and adapt. And we kind of made a joke, survival used to be survival of the fittest, but now it's survival of those who can adapt. If you're adaptable, you got a shot. So you got to look for plan B, plan C. And sometimes those might be better than our comfort zone of doing things the way they've always been done. So I'm excited. I have too many people to list in terms of organizations and groups that we're networking with to provide resources for our students and families. And it's not just for students from grades 4 through 12, it's for parents. We expect the parents to join in and hear from our keynote speakers and see what your kids are getting exposed to.
Tell them what they can expect. Tell them what they can expect and how to also find it. Because Facebook is a large platform. How do they actually find Each One Teach One on Facebook?
Well, you can just search Each One Teach One. There are a number of organizations, but we have 3 cubes. Our cubes are blue, purple, and green, teal kind of green. And you can go there. I think it's all the words spelled out, but on our Instagram, it's Each One the number, Teach One the number. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on our website is IamEachOneTeachOne.com, all spelled out. And again, we have 10 specific experiences that kids can register for and have one-on-one experiences with Dr. Brian Smith from the Tuskegee Airmen in the Tuskegee Airmen Museum, and kids get exposed to the opportunity to learn how to fly. They can get a pilot's license at the previously called Detroit City Airport. And they can have aviation experiences. We have special guests, the Detroit Youth Choir, who won America's Got Talent last year. So you get to see what it's like to have a choir rehearsal and sing with the Detroit Youth Choir and see how they use performance and dance and rapping to get messages out and learn life lessons like the importance of discipline, practice, preparation, and study. We have another producer, Arthur Cartwright. He created a program called Beat the Streets through his program Seed Time and Harvest Productions. He's on Facebook. Young man, he was with us in our first year, so this is our 5th year. He's back to show how he uses media, film, and the dramatic arts to get messages across. They have 5 pillars, and they deal with things like peer pressure, how to navigate through the things that kids face in a real sense, and gives you coping mechanism tools to, act out scenarios of what would you do if this, that, or the other. They emphasize the importance of academics and being disciplined to realize it's okay to be smart. It's cool to get good grades, and you can be balanced. You can balance hanging out and having a good time with, getting your books.
Excellent.
And again, yeah.
So the website again was IamEachOneTeachOne.org.
No, .com.
.com.
I am
Okay.
teach.com, all the words spelled out. And it
And what's the
has
phone
just
number if they've got some questions? What's the phone number?
the phone number is area code 248-325-8353. And again, this is our 5th year, and we used to be in person, but we were able to convert to a Zoom platform through the support and partnership with Black United Fund of Michigan, Ken Donaldson. And our Zoom platform producer is Christine Burkett, who we step by step told her what our vision was, shared what our previous curriculum looked like. And we wanted to be sure not to just retrofit a virtual in-person experience on the computer. We really took the time to make sure it's an interactive experience. You know, kids are online, their parents are online, their Zoom fatigue is real.
Right.
So we wanted to do something that was not just sitting in front of the computer again on a Saturday after a week of class. We picked educators who understand that. So our goal was really to make sure kids and parents could see the value in getting up and coming on a Saturday. And we, you know, we really do know it's a necessary resource. We want to make it so you don't feel bad for asking a question that you might not ask in person. You don't want to feel like everybody else knows this and somehow you're missing out. Our goal is to make sure that it's so organic and so comfortable and so approachable. Everybody in here, they haven't charged us fees. These are people that are doing these things in kind because they love it. They're subject matter experts from law, art, music, medicine, nutrition.
History, absolutely.
History. And I'm really impressed to have Professor Griggs do our keynote address.
Yes, I want to see that. I do want to see that part. Look, we're coming to the part for me to introduce Dr. Keller, but I want to say, Dr. Ferguson, I am so appreciative of the work that you're doing, and it's all in kind. You know, we came together or reconnected by way of Oakland County in this financial consulting contract, but I am so excited to hear what it is that you guys are actually offering to the Metro Detroit community. And for those of you in our listening audience, here is a place to connect your children to positive role models, people who are, like she said, subject matter experts on Saturday, all for free. So get your kids involved, get them occupied with something that will give them mental stimulation. But there's also something on there I read about emotional intelligence and helping them to actually decipher through what that is. And like she said, it's okay to want to be smart or to pursue other things. Dr. Ferguson, I want to thank you for jumping on our call and telling us about the Each One Teach One program. I want you and Keith to connect because I believe that your worlds are aligned, and it is very important because you're touching the same population of people, and there's greater opportunity where there's synergy. So I've already sent you an email so that you can connect with Keith for what your golf programs will look like when we get back into that space.
You know, Laura, real quick. Real quick, Pat, I'm working on something that's, you know, public housing. That's where my focus is at, public housing, because that's where the kids need to love the most. And I'm, you know, all through my life, you know, you got people that they go right back to public housing. They don't see no way out. So I want to bring some enrichment to those kids and to those families. So I'd like to talk to you about that. With my connection with when this whole thing, configuration of new government come to fruition, I got some ideas I want to talk. If people want to ride together, we can walk together and we can put all our programs together instead of one out there going in one direction and another going in another direction, and we're not working together.
Right. If I could just jump in two quick points on that same note, I have some ideas too. And when in medicine, we talk about something called social determinants of health, those circumstances that we're born into that we have no control over that really determine our future. And the use of technology, internet, Wi-Fi access is creating a new social determinant where if you don't have access, the digital divide is real. And so I'm trying to connect with tech providers to provide mobile hotspots and to provide technology to students who otherwise are getting left behind even further. So that's one thing. So I'm looking forward to speaking with you. But the second is I would be totally remiss if I don't acknowledge our amazing planning committee. There's 13 of us, including me. I probably can't say all their names, but the committee chairs, Paula Lightsey, Juanita Moore, Nadine Cook, Carla White, Barbara Brown, Yolanda Bloodsaw, Mazetta Clay. We have
I
some
went to high
amazing.
school with Nadine Cook.
Yep. And you know, these amazing people, they have all full-time jobs. David Hall, we're all parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents. My mom, Llewellyn Brown, who's 90, she doesn't miss a meeting. So anyway, like I said, this organization is just committed to the purpose, our mission, making sure that kids, no matter what their backgrounds, socioeconomic status, get exposures to things that will change their life. And it's for parents as well. We didn't come with a manual. We didn't do everything perfectly. And these are opportunities, no matter what age, that you can find a new thing. You can create a new plan B. And the resources here are not limited to kids. So please, by all means, check out our website, check out the link and register. We hope to see you Saturday.
Excellent.
The doors open at 9:45.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Is there a call? Was there a call, Matt? Okay. Hey, Miss Deborah Keller Green from Miss Baltimore. How are you?
Yes, well, I am doing wonderful, and I feel like Baltimore is right here on this, among the people that your guests here tonight. I think we have so much in common. So I wanted to, first of all, commend Dr. Ferguson and Mr. Williams for the work that that you all are doing. And I know, Mr. Williams, are you in Flint, Michigan?
Yes, I'm in Michigan.
And Dr. Ferguson, are you in Detroit? Where are you? Where are you?
I am just north of Detroit, but born and raised in Detroit. So yeah, I say metropolitan Detroit.
Okay, so and I'm in Baltimore, and everything that we've talked about that I've heard you speak on this evening is relevant to Baltimore.
Right.
So Laura asked me to come in this evening to talk about what's going on in Baltimore, and I just want to just say that the groundwork that you all are doing for youth education is relevant to Baltimore. The Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce, our focus is on business, but we have interest in youth entrepreneurship, and there's always the opportunity or the need to expand resources. So I'm just going to segue, I just want to, kind of segue into the conversation about Baltimore. And I could not do that without, recognizing the work that you're doing there and how it is relevant to Baltimore. So that being said, I would like to be able to access the resources for your program, Dr. Ferguson. My son is an educator.
I love it.
And I watch what he goes through with, and if you know anything about Baltimore City, you know that our school systems and our young people are really suffering the most due to the social determinants that you're talking about with technology and this new norm with educating and addressing their special needs in light of what's going on. So I just want to
I'll do an e-introduction between you, Ms. Green, and Dr. Ferguson. I'll make sure that Deborah has that information, because I think if anything else, we have learned, right, that we can use these new technologies, even though they can be somewhat of a deterrent or a social inhibitor in some regard. But if we can use it for its advantages, we can now connect Michigan to Maryland. And I think that's phenomenal. And we have Dr. Rabia Green Weir, who's just joined the call from Tallahassee, Florida. She's over there at FAMU, you all. She's on the line with us. I'm excited about this reunion. This is such a great day.
Yes. So, real quick about Baltimore, we are continuing to, and please apologize. I apologize that I'm, incognito visually.
You're fine. You're
Very
fine.
much so. So we are continuing to move forward with faith, determination, and with trusting in God here in Baltimore. And, just as a backdrop, the coronavirus is kind of on an upsurge right now in Maryland. And so we are, looking at how that will impact the economy and impact business, because we are preparing to hunker down. We don't, we have, the whole corona or the whole pandemic has, it's been a challenge, but in some ways it's been very revealing, and it's been sometimes the worst of times could bring out the best of opportunities, and just the opportunity to assess and refresh and look at how to move forward. So we are moving forward, and we have, now that we're past the election, we have, the people have voted in Baltimore for their new mayor.
Oh, wow.
And they voted for the present city council president to become the mayor. So we will concede, or we will adapt. I like Dr. Pat's,
Is he black or white?
Well, he's black, but there's he is part of the old administration. And so there's some of us who felt that we needed a fresh new break, and there was a candidate who was a businessman who was running, and most of the business people were behind Bob Wallace, who is a successful businessman who we felt could have brought some new energy and bring some business culture to City Hall. So the incumbent pretty much won. And so we are moving from pivoting to mobilization. And so what that means in terms of Baltimore, when I'm talking about mobilizing, as the business community made its voice heard in terms of the culture that we want to see in City Hall, that is more business friendly. But what we learned is that our voice was.
Or say station ID. And can we take a station ID? When we come back, we're gonna finish this conversation.
Thank you.
So you guys hold tight.
And the topic for today is something similar. Do Black folks know what economic theory that's gonna drive our economy? Does Black folks know the economic theory that's going to drive our economy? Black folks don't talk about economics in theories like Keynesian and supply side. Where do we fit in this equation?
All right.
Good question. Good point. So
say it loud with the voice of the.
I'm going to mute him because he's playing the station ID and we don't need to hear. I am so excited to see Dr. Rabia. She hasn't been here since September, since school started. Hey, Rabia, how you doing? And we got Dr. Keller. You got Linda Allen over there in the corner. We got Dr. Patricia Ferguson up here. We got Keith Williams. He's really outnumbered. He's the only guy on the call.
Well, I love being around a lot of love.
Keith, you got a doctor of medicine, a doctor of education. You've got the person who's leading the charge in Baltimore. I mean, the Baltimore Black Chamber holds that city accountable. They call them to
I'm gonna
task.
tell you something.
That's
What I've learned about being in politics is not what you want, it's what the people want.
That's right.
Exactly.
And a lot of folks don't understand that. They say, I want this guy. But see, I learned about some guys don't have personality to connect with people.
Well, you're right, Mr. Williams. The people, politics is about what the people want. And so that's why we're mobilizing to the chamber in terms of, when I say mobilizing, we want to make sure that we have the right people and the right resources available and ready to move and act and to prepare for a better future for small and Black-owned businesses. So that's what mobilization means. It means adapting to, organizing and adapting to the environment in order to, achieve what needs to be, what's in the best interest of the city. And business is a very integral component, small business. And in Baltimore, Black-owned business is a valuable component to the economy.
Deborah, I'm gonna say this to you. I posted a long thing about economics and economic theory. I got 7 people to post to respond to my post. We are not into that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
You ready to come back?
Yeah.
He been in this song about a minute. All right, Matt, we ready.
All right, I heard you. Okay, stand by, wait for my signal.
All righty.
And mic's up.
Okay, we have Linda, Pat, Laura, Deborah, and Rabia. I'm outnumbered today, but God is good. I'm getting it from all perspectives, from Florida to Detroit to Baltimore, and that young lady named Laura up there in Romulus, okay? Okay, so, I am really concerned about our economics and where we're going with our economics. And lot of, somebody asked me today, do we have a Black economist?
Mm.
I don't hear too many. All you hear is the white perspective on economics. You hear about supply side.
Actually, Baltimore does have a Black economist.
Who?
Baltimore does have a Black economist.
Well, I wish because the deal is this. I'm looking at these whole theories. One, the Keynesian, and I learned that in college about demand side economics. And then they got another school of thought called Austrian, which is supply side economics. Okay, so, but really, do either one of those theories, do it applies to Black people?
I'm going to contact Audubon Basu and put him in the conversation based on that feedback. And so he is a Black economist here in Baltimore, and your point is well taken. So
if I can chime in real quick, my son graduated from Howard this past December, semester early, with a major in economics. He got a Bachelor of Arts in economics with honors. And during his last couple semesters, I said, you need to look up Black economists and see who they are, network, find out, get a mentor. And all that to say, you can have an economics degree and wind up doing something totally unrelated. I think that whether or not we have a specialist who is a Black economicist, and I've seen some, I've looked them up and Googled them. The point is our economics needs to start as basic as learning the principle of saving before spending, becoming investors and producers instead of consumers, and understanding that you do need to live with a budget and stay within your means. Now, do I do all of those things? No. Do I know that I need to change and begin to do the things that I wasn't necessarily taught? Yes. And I think we have to start with recognizing just because we weren't taught certain principles, we don't have to go to college to be economic majors, but we have to start with basic principles. And that's Absolutely. One of the things in our symposium, we have two financial literacy components. And
Linda,
one
jump
is
in this
taught
conversation.
Okay, so, yes. And that
Oh, I'm
also
sorry.
is
And I was
very
just saying to say, we got to start when these kids are babies.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, I get that, but we're a $1 trillion marketplace, okay? And money stays in our hands 6 hours. In any other community, the money stays, has a duration to it. And so, all these theories, capitalism, and, like in supply side economics, they say the individual drives the economy. And then Keynesian says the government drives the economy, but capitalism is the formation behind that theory. But the problem with that is Black folks, we don't have enough capital. We say we got capital, but our capital's not driving our demand.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Amen. And that is the challenge that we have here with the with being a Black chamber. And so, as I said, in terms of mobilizing, what this pandemic has done has revealed have forced the Black business community or the Black businesses to realize what that they need to do, just very basic things like Dr. Ferguson said, file your taxes.
Right. Be
Get,
above board. Be above board.
yes,
Do the legitimate things.
Yes, be a legitimate business. File your taxes, because there are resources out there that that are not it's because they don't have, because they haven't done the basics. So the work that's being done, to transition, to make business better, to make things better, the future better for Black owned businesses and small businesses, but we're talking about Black owned businesses now, is to provide the resources and to mobilize to make sure these resources are in place. So we're providing the technical assistance, and we are
You're offering a little capital too, aren't you? Aren't you offering some grant dollars right now?
well, we're actually are not, well, we are working in partnership with Baltimore City, and we are actually a referral partner for these grant funds that are coming out.
Okay.
So so we're providing the information, and we're providing the technical assistance. We're not actually providing the money.
Okay, Deborah,
Okay.
I'm asking you to hold on just
real
1
quick.
second. Go ahead, Keith.
Okay, just real quick. It says, the thing when they say sometimes capitalism has problems. And it says people lose their jobs, business closed, people cannot work, and people cannot spend money. Keynesian economics say the government should help people who don't have work. The ideal is called demand side. If people are working, the economy is good, and people are not working, the economy is terrible. The government should provide help, okay?
We've got blended economy, either which way you slice it.
But the bottom
Everything
line
that is no longer. Linda, you got something to say?
But the Lord, Robbie, but all I'm gonna say is this, Laura. When all those theories, the government still gonna give the money to who they want to give it to, okay? They still control, the people that don't look like us still control all sides of economics.
But let's change that. That's the whole purpose of our discussion right now.
However, I'm going to say, I kind of go with Ms. Keller Green, in that one of the problems I've seen with a lot of businesses is they don't have paperwork in order. Even when you have organizations who are trying to get more Black businesses in them, i.e. when 100K was run by a good friend, she couldn't get businesses in because they didn't have, she knew they were making the money.
But their organization structure was broken.
But their organizational structure was not above ground.
Exactly.
And she couldn't work with them. So they missed out on opportunities to gain capital in order to make their businesses flourish. And this was one of the best markets for that program. Most of the businesses I know, because well, Laura knows that I have a group of Black women business owners that I gather with monthly. Many of the ones that gone through that program took advantage of those resources and are flourishing.
Yes.
I see, I get you what
I'm
you're
gonna say this
saying.
from two sides. So to say that there aren't things out there,
I'm not saying that.
because
What-
sometimes we
The
haven't
no.
ourselves in a position to take advantage.
Hold on, I get that. You're talking about individuals who got business. I'm talking about the business climate that creates the business activity.
Yes, right.
Yes, we understand, and that's going to take some time. I mean, and that's another factor that that has been revealed. The banking system is not for us.
No.
So those institutions are not designed to work for us, Mr. Williams. We hear that loud and clear, and we understand.
What about the education system though? Is the education system, Rabia, designed to work for us?
Well, it all depends on if you're in a predominantly white institution or if you're in an HBCU, if you're in a state institution or if you're in an Ivy League private school. And, the patchwork continues. So all of the fragmentation that we had in pre-K-12, it continues in higher ed, right? Because, so let's talk about FAMU versus Florida State or any other PWI in Florida. The Board of Governors, they continually raise the bar. And I'm not saying the bar should not be raised, but as soon as FAMU reaches a bar, then they want to raise it.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. So I'm trying to tell you, you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to participate.
Well,
so we have these issues at the higher ed level. And so back to when I signed on, I think I got the tail end of a technology issue in Baltimore and the kids and the education.
Yeah.
We had that same problem in HBCU.
Wow.
When COVID suddenly shut down the university, we being FAMU, we spent a lot of money on laptops because students didn't have it. So we were throwing them into a remote environment, and they didn't have the tools to do that. So we spent a lot of money on getting just laptops to students. We still are spending money on that because we're still in a remote environment.
That's so scary to me when I hear Keith's conversation about a Black economy and then our position of theory has to have a practical application. And when we are still trying to figure out just general education and still trying to figure out how to participate in the financial systems and access to capital, and we're trying to figure out how to participate with having some buying power, Keith, the conversation you're having has so many layers to it. You need a whole lot of schools of thought and theories.
But Laura, there's some fundamentals in this.
Okay.
We want to dumb down our economy, okay? And if you look at it, this pandemic is a chance for us to put our resources to lift each other's businesses up so we can grow our economy through this pandemic.
Yeah,
okay?
You need a chain link. That's right.
Yeah, but you never hear our politicians, Black politicians, talking about economic theory. Because if you got an economic climate, you create a business climate, okay?
Naturally.
And you got to have activity. You have to get capital drives everything.
It anchors everything. You're absolutely right.
But there are so many layers to this, right?
There are.
I mean, so, you have to look at the mentality that was destroyed with integration and the flight, right? It wasn't just the flight out of the neighborhoods. It was the flight from our school system. It was the flight from our businesses. It was the flight, right?
Yes.
And because somehow we had the mindset that theirs was better. Or maybe because it was we saw it as the forbidden fruit, and now we get a chance to bite it. I'm going for it. That you have a flight from our Black women. You have a flight from our Black kids. You have a flight, right? So this has so many layers to it. I mean, so I get the economic theory, but if you don't have a mindset,
But
Practice
Robbie,
and mindset.
So here we
Robbie,
are
I
right
get
now.
your point, but if you look at it from generations, we've been taught negative stuff. And when we become more consumer oriented, and I get your point from that slave mentality, but there comes a point in time, when do we break the chains?
Now, right now.
Re-education. Re-education.
Right,
That's
but
right.
part of the problem is you have to have within the Black community, for example, all the millionaires and billionaires that there are, and there are Black millionaires, multimillionaires who, if we just took a segment of the community and considered redistributing a certain portion of their wealth, because what's going to happen in this current economic recovery, the gap between the haves and the have-nots has got to get wider, because those who have will benefit from all those who had not and were unfortunately forced to leave their businesses and homes. So that just opens up commercial and residential real estate for the taking.
You're right. Because the piranha are out. The piranha are coming to get it.
Right. If we can't distribute some of the wealth for the purpose of creating more even of a middle income level, lower to middle, because most people don't even need the excess that we live with. They just want to maintain their basics, and that's the problem. All the divide is going to get wider unless somebody tries to intentionally help the have-nots recover.
Let me just say this to you. This past year, I went to the Democratic Party. I sent a letter, I want $2 million. I got laughed at, but more importantly, Black people thought I was crazy for asking for that kind of money. But look what happened.
If they think small, if they think small, they can only be small, Keith.
But
people
what
have
I'm
to
saying
be
to
exposed
you,
to something different.
But Laura, when you train to work for somebody, you would never see what's out there because you've been trained.
That's right. The assimilation doesn't happen. Deborah's been trying to get in. Deborah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I just the only thing that I want to add to that is that you said, when are we going to make that shift? And I say that it's right here and right now. One of the things that, and I can speak for Baltimore, is that the coronavirus, the pandemic, has no color. It has no, it's no respect of person.
That's
right. It
right.
has hit everyone, and it has identified some areas that are essential to the economy that were taken for granted. And the Black businesses, the sanitation workers, the people who are on the front line that provide essential services are all of a sudden essential. So, so this is an opportunity to, and the people have spoken. We've come across and we've seen that the future generation voted.
Yes, they did.
And as you said, the Black folks voted, and we voted for, had it not been for our vote, the president-elect that would not be the president-elect.
That's right. That's right.
So, that's power in that. So we, the ones who are the leaders in our industry, be it education, be it business, be it finance, be it economics, it's time to mobilize.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, it's time to mobilize as a race. And so some of the things that we're doing in Baltimore, you got to do. We can have some influence, and we can lead by example. And everybody on this call is giving what we have, and we got to believe in the God that we serve to direct us to do that to the best of His plan. So
I feel led to say this, Deborah. I feel led to say this right here. We have education, we have health science, we've got history, we've got the Black Chamber for Economics, and we've got Keith in politics. We have touched every sphere that is going to move the needle. What we need to do is come up with our ask. We collectively need a collective ask from each of our own disciplines. What does Black education look like? How do we excel for Black superior education? Rabia needs to chair that. Pat, what do we need for us to recognize the health disparities and to remove those social standards and norms where even standard care is not really standard care based on your color? We need somebody like Deborah Keller Green to say, as the head of or the president of the Black Chamber, with a lot of members doing great work and activated, here's what we recognize and this is what our people need. Then we need the voice of reason on the political side for Keith to say, under the auspice of all these people collectively, we are their voice and we are knocking on the door. You will give us the change that we're looking for.
But Laura, Joe Biden has gave you the framework. He gave you a document called Lift Every Voice. Everybody need to read that. And then you formulate your theories and your
Linda,
plan
you got
based
your
on
homework.
this
You get to that? Lift Every Voice by Biden, that's your homework.
It's a thick document that tells you where he wants to go for historically Black colleges, wealth building, home ownership, and all this other stuff. So what we need to do is take that document and formulate our strategy so we can get money fuel into to the Black economy. But as y'all said in the beginning, when that money started coming, we got to best be able to handle it.
That's right. Be able to receive it.
that's right. And
which is another layer, right?
Yeah.
So many businesses
we're working
missed
on.
out on the PPP because they weren't legit.
That's right.
So
So
in the beginning of the first quarter for 2021, the Chamber is running a series on tax strategies for sustaining and growing your business, because we need to be able to communicate to our businesses why we're failing, and we have some decisions to make in terms of whether or not we're going to move forward and how we move forward. And we have to be very gentle about it because it's a delicate subject. I mean, as a business owner for over 20 years, I've been in their shoes where, I didn't want to admit my shortcomings, and
Exactly.
I wanted to appear that I was successful, but that is not going to.
I don't think it's an easy task, because as you said,
It's not easy.
you got to be a business owner, just to go out there requires a certain amount of ego
And confidence. That's right.
and you said what?
Confidence.
Yeah,
Well, it's
confidence.
faith. I mean, that's
Veering all the way into arrogance, and to have someone come in and tell you that that is not enough,
Yeah.
as you say, is not simple.
Yeah.
it is not.
But let's
it
can
is
I propose
necessary.
this? Can I propose this? Deborah, check this out. Detroit as a city does not have a Detroit Black Chamber.
Oh,
Did
did
you
you
know
not
that?
go there?
I didn't
They
know that.
used to. What happened to it?
We don't have one.
That's a story.
Never had
We
one?
don't have one. Deborah,
I
I
thought
joined.
we used to.
Look, we don't have time in this call. Deborah,
No, we don't have time for a number.
How does one charter a Black chamber?
so we can talk.
That's
We
the
can talk
second
about that.
question, Dr.
So
Ferguson.
Right, to talk about that.
I want to propose, Linda, that we join the Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce, because guess what? They're functional. Not only are they functional, they are active in making sure that their membership is being heard. They go to
Linda,
work for their
Laura,
people.
Laura,
Deborah, I have actually 3 members for you right now.
well, let me say this to
Laura
you.
probably knows my other 2.
We could create,
If I can talk to you offline, it will be
Okay.
we could create our own Black chamber if we want to.
Make it happen.
And
Huh?
well, then, let me suggest something. The Greater Baltimore Black Chamber is a member of the U.S. Black Chamber. So there is a U.S. Black Chamber that has a very effective program, and they are, so I would like to help nurture a chamber with the partnership and introduction to the U.S. Black Chamber. But we can,
Keith, you got that? You're gonna be
Okay,
the person.
Why am I looking at online right now, Michigan Black Chamber?
Okay, maybe
We got to come to a close.
Dr. Green,
Laura,
finish that. We're going to. We
Laura,
don't have a functioning Black chamber that.
Oh, okay, all right.
businesses.
All right.
so folks, we got to come to a close. We can keep talking, but I think our show is over with. But next week, we're going to continue this conversation.
But we're not done. We're going to end the radio broadcast, but we're going to keep this going for at least another 5 minutes, because I need to get something out of this.
We need to talk about capital formation and how that drives our economy. And so let's talk about the next week. And so everybody listening, tune in next week, because this conversation is going to continue till we find some solutions.
Amen.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you, Matt. You can disconnect, and we're going to keep it going. Thank you so much for doing everything you do.
Thanks for having me, and I appreciate it. I love
Put
the
your
conversation.
faith into action. At Courageous Incorporated,
No, I'm
they
getting
need
ready to
your
dump
help.
the
They
radio
need
broadcast.
volunteers. They need donations. Send your donation to
All right, stay safe, guys. Take care.
Bye. See you later.
5 Auburn Street, Detroit, Michigan, 48223, 12925 Auburn Street, Detroit, 48223. Or go to the website, www.courageousinc.org. Listen and
almost
be
hung up on Robbie.
inspired
Wait a
on the
minute.
Courageous Hour with your host, Keith D. Williams.
All right, guys. Look, Keith, she's got this connection to the U.S. Chamber. You would be the great person, although I know you got some allegiance with the caucus. We deserve a Black chamber. As a former board secretary, we deserve it.
Okay.
I had to go to Baltimore to join the chamber. I had to join the Chaldean Chamber of Commerce. I had to join all these other chambers.
Laura, can I
me
say
ask-
this?
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have 10 Black caucuses statewide. I want to drive an economic agenda, an economic and a political agenda, okay? And I need organizations can help me do what I need to make sure my people get some services.
So
Well, I think Deborah can mentor you and make the connection.
Yeah, well, one of the things that we
need to do a Black chamber in Michigan?
When you're running a chamber, you need a lot of partners because as a chamber, you have to put forth a bipartisan front.
That's right. That's true.
You have to be bipartisan. So you can't be pro-Democrat and pro-Republican, but you can be pro-business. So therefore, we have partners. We have political partners, and you may call them good cops or bad cops, depending on what the situation may be. But because because it's business, it's a business arm that drives the economy, but it is, it's a matter of having an organized body. So, but I would ask that you all take a look at the U.S. Black Chamber. Just take a look at it and see how it's structured. Look at the issues. And what I can tell you, we joined the U.S. Black Chamber a couple of years ago, and then they got a little weird. They wanted to kind of take over Baltimore, and we had to kind of pull back. But now they're coming to us with a little more respect. And yes, a little more respect. And they have a great program, but they won't, if the Black Chamber were not there, the U.S. Black Chamber would be in Baltimore because they see the potential in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So, you have to be humble enough and savvy enough and understand, what God is trying to do with you to balance all of this. So I don't claim to have all of the answers, but I know a God who does.
Amen. Amen.
So,
Keith, I think we need to figure out how to charter this and make the connection, but we need a strong backbone because like Deborah just said, they will bend you over if you let them. You got to come and
let me ask this.
Yeah.
I understand that we don't have a functioning Michigan chamber, Black chamber, but wouldn't it behoove us to see what is going on?
I know.
Maybe
I'm pretty.
Strengthen what we already have. We can't
created
what we already have.
The Michigan Black Chamber has morphed into the National Business League, and Ken Harris, the same person who ran the Michigan Black Chamber, is over the National Business League.
Yep, it was Ken Harris.
It's Ken Harris, and it is absolutely 150% defunct. There is no movement, no motion, no anything.
I see.
And as the money comes in, it stays in administration. Programs do not come down. Dollars do not come down. Advocacy does not come down. Representation does not come down. There's nobody doing anything on the ground.
The first thing that you would do is form a board. Just put your board together, and just have your board together as the first step.
And we had a great board. We had a great board of all strong Black business owners. We had car dealership people, automotive company people, and listen, I mean, whatever he said, they went with him. We could not get I could not get a word in, and I was the board secretary, and I could not get them to understand it. We have to rebuild that. It has to be rebuilt from the bottom up.
And that is what's happening with the Baltimore Black Chamber as well, because it will go through that kind of leadership. One of our former presidents is in jail right now.
Jesus.
So tell me this though, if Ken Harris is getting money to support himself, then that suggests to me that he possibly has some influence that you're going to have to deal with.
It'll definitely run against.
If people are willing to pay fees or whatever, and not see anything materialize, that says to me that Mr. Harris has some ability to manipulate, influence, or whatever.
But see, here's the thing: he's not being paid by membership. Membership is not paying him. He's getting money from large philanthropic organizations. $100,000 from this Black organization, $100,000 over here, 25,000 here, grant dollars on federal projects here, but they never roll down to the membership.
So is this just supporting his lifestyle then?
Him and maybe 2 or 3 other people, pretty much. And he's now, according to him, he's moved to DC.
Well, tell me this though. I still say it's going to be, you need to figure out how strong that those connections are, because that may be an impediment to getting money.
It'll be a huge obstacle, but we'll have to deal with it when we get there.
I believe, and I believe that we can overcome. That will be a huge impediment, will be an obstacle, but it is not one that cannot be overcome,
I agree with that.
because there are enough who are suffering in silence,
Yes.
okay, that are suffering in silence and actually have knowledge of what is going on, that, you know, everything is relationships,
Yeah.
Mhm.
relationships to overcome that.
Absolutely. And I like that, Linda, because you know, I would say that you all you know, get a strong praying group together. I'm not, I mean, it's
No, I feel you. I feel you. Cause this has got to be stepping out on faith, because the
well,
powers
because
that be don't want to see us trying to unite and make change.
Mhm. So you know, you do have some groundwork to do, but it's worth doing it. And it's a matter of getting the right people in the room, and you know, like Robbie says, look at what you have in place and how you can build on that, and let your members have the voice.
Yeah, we're gonna need the backing of the caucus. See, if we had Keith's organization, you said you got 10 chapters, Keith?
Yes.
10 chapters endorsing a new economic chamber would
Yes.
be quite substantial, because we do need Keith's organization is going to play to the Democrats because of the Michigan Black Caucus. They're not going to change their platform, but we could have an independent, you know, bipartisan economic chamber
Well,
that is endorsed and endorses the Michigan Black
look,
Caucus.
we're Democrats. We just don't say it.
Right. Right.
And that's okay.
And that's
Right.
okay. You know,
And that's okay.
but the person that we were voting for mayor was an independent. So it just depends on who the best person is. It's not what political party he's affiliated with.
Right.
You know, because if you had the right Republican person, I'm sorry.
But let me say this to you. The bottom line to me as a former elected official is about a person who cares about the growth of their communities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And those folks, like I just reflect back on Coleman Young. I was thinking about the great Coleman Young, how he took this city with no resources and tried to make it work, but the brother cared.
Mm-hmm.
He had some principles.
That's right.
And we don't have that no more.
Well,
He
we
doesn't
do have
seem-
it. We do have it, but we just don't.
Yes.
It doesn't overshadow some of the negativity. But we, you know, we do have it. I mean, we have it right here in this room. So, you know, so I refuse to take that position that we don't have it.
No, I'm not saying that, but ma'am, let's get real. Let's get real about this.
That's what I'm doing.
Let's get real. Our standard of living has not increased. Some have.
Yeah.
Some folks have.
Yes.
But the majority hasn't.
Absolutely right. That's right.
And we got some work to do. And then you know what? I'd rather we be a little mad about the situation versus complacent, because now it's time to be uncomfortable with these certain situations. We have to enforce.
If you're comfortable, then nothing's happening.
Nothing is happening. We got to move the change. The change has to happen right now. If we don't have an agenda, a collective agenda to put in front of the powers that be, and no matter how we influence this, if we have to go through the Baltimore, if we have to go through the Michigan Black Caucus.
Well, you know, really the power rests with us.
Exactly.
The power rests with us.
I would echo that strongly, because, you know, when people were debating before the election, they're like, they don't have an agenda for the Black community. We need our own agenda.
And you know,
when you say if we amass the money we waste within the community, not being judgmental, but if we just changed a mindset that said, just
Exactly.
step back and look, if Jay-Z said it, if Kanye said it, they would have 1 million followers. So I'm just saying, you can take their messages and you can demonstrate how these kids with a telephone and access to the internet can become entrepreneurs online and influencers
right.
and start making money while they sleep. We just,
Yes, we have to go back to
we
being
just
kings
have
and
to
queens
change.
that we were, the kings and queens that we were before, you know, whatever slavery, whatever, because I mean, we are great people. And, you know, we have to change our mindsets, and we have to understand, you know, government serves a purpose, but the government is not the bend all, you know, the be all to end all.
Right.
We have to understand what resources, you know, we have to understand the game, like you said, Brother Williams, but we have to use that to our advantage. And we have to circulate the dollars in our communities, and we have to improve our communities, and we have to conduct business in our communities. And we have to believe that we can
do it.
And we have to work together to do it. And, you know, and we have to be gentle with one another. But we also have to be firm with one another.
We have to be firm. I would strongly say, could you imagine if we knocked on the door and we started even with Kamala Harris and we showed up and she says, well, who's there? Hello. And we say we have Dr. Patricia Ferguson, we have Keith Williams over the Michigan Black Caucus, we have Dr. Rabia Green Weir, we have historian in residence Linda Allen, and we have the president of the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce. You think they won't pay attention?
With a plan. With a plan. We're not coming to add. It's like, you know,
I just sent you all a text in the group thing. We need to start to formulate this agenda. If we're talking about Black economics and empowerment, each of you in your own discipline should be able to contribute to that. And then we talk about how to bring those things to fruition. And we don't come looking for a handout. We come simply looking for acknowledgement and helping you to formulate policy that supports our agenda.
Yeah, and we come to do the work.
And ready to do the work.
Because the work is there.
Always ready to do the work.
The work is there, you know. The work is in those businesses that need the accountants in place to file their taxes, to you know, make sure they're keeping their records, and to make sure that they are employing people, you know, and they know how to employ people, that they know how to provide customer service, that there is trust in the marketplace among Black-owned businesses, that we operate at a level that that stands out.
Right, superior service, exactly.
Are critical. Those two things are critical, I think: trust and service excellence.
Those two. And there's some work to be done.
There's some issues
so,
there.
I've taken on a project in Baltimore. I can't talk about it yet, but as soon as it becomes a success, I'm going to share with you, Laura.
I look forward to it.
I put together a team that of Black businesses in Baltimore to address a city issue. And so we've got the ear of the city. And Keller, my company Keller, is leading a team of people to work together to solve a problem with issue, and it's demonstrating the dynamics that are involved in, you know, bringing in a company that's that was inherited 30 years ago by an uncle, that's been turned over to a dad and his 2 sons, and you know, they know how to go out and take their truck and move and haul furniture, but when it comes to the business aspect,
compliance and organization and everything.
Well, just understanding how business works, they're not there. And then I have a very competent young business person who understands how business works, but she has no tolerance for a company that doesn't mirror her work ethic.
Right.
And you know, but you know, I am the person, you know, the most experienced business person in the room that's saying, Sometimes you gotta be a student and sometimes you gotta be a teacher.
Can I say something? You know, we are at a time period in our lives, we got a chance to shape it and shape our perspectives. And the bottom line is this: because you live in Baltimore, I live in Detroit, we should have a unified ask.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because Joe Biden would not be there because of Black people. There's an old saying. Huey Long said this in Louisiana. He said, "Those who come in my campaign early will get taken care of. Those who come in the middle of my campaign will get my attention. And those who come late in my campaign will get good government." Now, we came in early, okay? I don't want good government. I don't want to get your attention. I want some results now. But if we all going in different directions, we're gonna get what we get you always. Nothing.
Yeah.
They see white boys are playing for the power game.
Yeah.
We try to play for the interest game.
Yeah.
That's all they know, and they're feeling miserably.
And you think about it. We got the word we had these white folks got it. We begging them to do something for us. First and foremost, we don't even have control of our own infrastructure in our own community.
Yes, Keith, look, it's almost 8 o'clock. It's time for us to get off this call, but I want this. Next week, let's continue the conversation. You've got the right, it has never come together like this. You've got medicine, health services. You got Dr. Green over here. Dr. Green Weir, not Deborah Keller Green, but Dr. Rabia Green Weir.
Promoted me to a doctor. I'm like, okay now.
Rabia Green Weir over there sitting up at the HBCU on education. She is at that pivotal part. We've got our historian in residence who's been in sales, business, everything, Linda. And we've got the head of the Black Chamber in Baltimore. And I'm in the business community. Let us talk about it. We have the right legs for the whole table. We got the whole table. I'm ready for us to go. We can have this discussion moving it forward. If we each come up with what we believe executable talking points where we can start to formulate a real plan for how we make our ask known to this new administration. We have to start somewhere. Even if we start with 20 things that we ask for, if we only get 14 or 12 or 9, at least we get a seat at the table. And that's where it's got to be. We got to make it to the table. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining the call.
Next week.
Keith, thank you so much for letting us have this conversation. Thank you so much. Thank you, Courageous Flower.
Hey, I'm just a good servant.
All right. Bye, everybody.
I can't.
Thank you. I'll be in touch.
I don't know if I
Good
can.
night. I'm meeting all of you.
I know you got school, but we'll have to catch you when you get one of those breaks.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, dear.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
I'll show my face next time.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.